Hi everyone, welcome to our parents meeting for reception. This meeting is just going to give you some information about our Read Write Ink scheme and how we teach phonics at Red Lane. Just to start with a quick quote, so reading changes everything. Teach a child to read and keep that child reading and we will change everything, and I mean everything. So what is phonics? Phonics is where children will begin to learn their sounds. And you may already know that some of the children in reception have been coming home sharing the sounds that they've been learning. At the start of the year, they start with single letter sounds. For example, in the word mat, at, or in the word ship, they would learn the sounds sh, ip. We have what's also known as graphemes, and that's the way that we write the sound. So when we say the sound we would write the letter When we say the sound sh, we would write the letters S and H that make one sound. As you are probably fully aware, our English alphabetic code can be quite a complex language for children to learn. Overall, there are 44 sounds for children to learn, but obviously there are only 26 letters in our alphabet, so that can pose quite a complex situation. There's actually over 150 different ways of writing the different sounds. So not only do we have 44 sounds, there's actually different ways of writing the same sound. So it's one of the most complex alphabetic codes in the world. So just to give you a bit of a understanding of how we teach the sounds, these are our the simple code of phonics, and these combine the set 1 and the set 2 sounds. So your children will begin by learning the initial sounds, a single letter sound, and then they'll move on to learning some special friends, as we call them, where there's 2 letters that make one sound. For example, sh, ng, nk. And then, as they've got secure with those sounds, they move on to the set 3 sounds, which are our complex code, where children will learn the same sound, but with different ways of spelling it. So, for example, if you look down to where the vowel sounds are, and you can see the A sound, spell A-Y, we also have split digraphs, which are A, E, I, O, and U. And we also have, for A, we have the spelling A-I. So we would begin by teaching these set 1 sounds in reception, and your children are already well underway with that. They've learnt 16 sounds so far. What we do need to remind parents, obviously, is that when you're teaching your children to learn their sounds and their phonics, we teach them the sound and not a letter name. So whilst the alphabet is important to know, we wouldn't teach children that A is an A. We do also need to be really careful of these sounds being really pure sounds and not adding what's called a schwa to the end of them. So I know it can be quite tempting, and in the past when I was at school, I would have been taught the same way, but it's really important to say sounds like and not m, because that sound can actually cause some complex issues when it comes for children to put the sounds together into words and blend.
These are the set 1 sounds. These are the stretchy sounds. Oh, These are the bouncy sounds. Well, yeah. Oh.
Hopefully that video helped you to hear how those sounds are pronounced. What we also do when we're teaching our children to learn the initial sounds is we teach them to recognise the sounds through a picture, which is made or created in a very similar way to the actual letter sound. So you might hear your children saying same, same when they come home teaching their phonics. So as you can see here, we've got the snake and the dinosaur, the Maisie with the mountain and the apple. You will have probably also heard some letter formation rhymes, which I'll come on to in a second. But what we do is we teach the children to see the sound through the picture. So, for example, the S, they would say snake, but they can see that the S is hiding behind the snake. So each day we teach your children a new sound. So it's every day we're teaching something new, and then we review, and it's all about that practice. And I will pause the screen share in a minute to show you something that we're going to be sending home that will really help with that at home as well. So it's lots of practice of those speed sounds until they're really familiar with them and can say them really quickly. So once the children have learnt those single letter sounds and they can recognise the sounds speedily, we then move on to doing something called Fred talk. And your children have probably spoke to you about Fred the frog, but Fred can only talk in sounds, so he can't say words like us. He will say things to the children like touch your oat, and the children have to listen to those sounds being orally blended to be able to then hear what the word is. So lots of practice of that really helps your children to then be able to read words. They have to have both of those elements, the single letter sound knowledge and the oral Fred talk, to be able to read words like s, at, sat. We also have something called the virtual classroom. Now, the Read Write Ink scheme is really good, whereby lots of the phonics sounds and the lessons that we teach in class can also be sent home. So on Dojo, over the coming weeks, we will be sending home some video links. They're very short videos that you can watch at home with your children, and it almost walks you through a simple lesson of phonics that we would do in school. And this is just to give you extra support at home to be able to teach phonics, but also for your children to keep up with that really fast pace of learning a new sound every single day. We do something in class called Pinny Time. So we have these flashcards that you can see this lady here has got, and we would ask the children to recall the sounds that we've already taught speedily on the flashcards. Something that you can do really quickly at home, but it's also another video that we can send home on the virtual classroom as well. So how can you use that virtual classroom? Set aside 10 minutes every day to watch a film with your child. Find a quiet space for them to watch on a laptop or a tablet, and praise your child as they join in with the lesson, making it really fun for them to want to do that. The more they practice using these films, the quicker that they'll learn to read, and that's our aim. We want children to read accurately, but we also want that fluency whereby they can read quite quickly and quite easily. So how can you practice at home? I have got these to show you in a minute, and I'll pause the PowerPoint so you can actually see them. But we've got these My Set 1 speed sound books. Now, this is new this year. We haven't done this before, but Read Write Ink have made these books. And what we're going to do is we're going to start sending them home. Inside them, there's the flashcard, so you can see the sound that we've learned, and it does have a date, so it'll show you when we've learned that sound in class, which sound to practice at home. But on the other side of the page, it also has some handwriting practice, and it gives you the rhyme for that letter, because I know lots of parents are always keen to know, well, how can I help them with the writing? And it also gives the children some space to practice their letter formation. So this will really be their reading book, whereby the children will practice reading the sounds and have a go at writing the letters as well. So you can see that on the screen there with the sh sound. You can practice with flashcards. You can make these at home. If you don't want to print them, that's absolutely fine, but I can send copies for printed as well if you want to. But even if you just write the letters on a piece of paper, and lots of practice at home. And then if you want to buy something, I know some parents want to, you don't have to, but this reading and writing kit is really, really useful. This is from Read Write Ink. It follows exactly what we do in school, but inside it, there's a variety of resources, which I'll show you in a minute. Letter formation, as I've talked about already, these are the rhymes, and these are inside that new speed sound book, so you will get a copy of that. But these are the rhymes that work really well to help your children recall that picture knowledge that they've learned with the sound and help them to form the letters. There are free video tutorials on the ruthmiskin.com webpage, whereby there's lots of support for parents. You can also look on Oxford Owl, which is another really useful tool to be able to support your children. So what can you do moving forwards? Please, please, please use the pure sounds rather than the letter names. That's really, really important when we teach phonics. Teach the picture names. Practice reading sounds speedily, and watch the virtual classroom videos together. Use the handwriting phrases to practice writing. And that's just giving you a few more web pages there. The Ruth Miskin Facebook page is really helpful, does have lots of information. And on Oxford Owl, there are free extra e-reading books that you can do with your children at home to do extra practice. I am aware, I know a lot of parents are always very keen to want to know when the reading books are coming home, but this sound knowledge is the first point in the journey. And it's really important that we get this right first before we send home those books for blending and reading words. So I just come back to that final quote of teach a child to read and keep that child reading, and we will change everything. And I mean everything. If you do have any questions, obviously this is a recording. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask a class teacher or come and see myself at my door at any time. But I'm just going to pop my video on now just to briefly show you the books that I've just been talking about. So this is the book that you'll all receive, My Set 1 Speed Sounds. And as you can see, it does show you the order that we teach them in. So we start with you can see that sound. And then on the other side, you can see it's got the letter formation rhyme here and some space to practice. And that goes through all of those sounds in one place in a little book that can go to and from school, and you can practice doing that. Obviously, once your children have learned a few sounds, it almost becomes flashcards as well. So you can practice turning the pages and your children saying the sounds. Okay. Finally, we've got our My Reading and Writing Kit as well. So if you have a look here, inside here, you've got a variety of resources that are all brilliant. You've got some flashcards with the rhymes on. You've got a little handbook, which gives you more information as a parent. You've got these freeze posters, which are great to put up around the house and practice our letter formation, or practice reading sounds, but also to use the pictures for the letter formation. And you've also got a handwriting workbook that you can practice at home, doing some more handwriting if you want to. Oh, sorry, that screen's not great. You can practice in another book as well, practicing your handwriting. As I say, if you've got any questions, please feel free, either send me a message on Dojo, speak to your class teacher, but we're all here to support you on this journey. Thank you very much for your help and for your time this evening. Thank you.